Welcome back to What It Takes show. We're here with Peter Ndiang'ui from OLX, and we're hearing about his career journey so far and what has been making him so successful. So let's, I guess, get a little more narrow in focus. And you handle a lot of the brand management, creation, and marketing on a higher strategy level. So for all those people and viewers out there that are in that world, I'm curious to know, like, what your learnings about how to launch a brand in this market have been. What are some more successful tactics you've seen?
I think it's extremely important to first start by understanding who your customer is, and I think this is kind of the like the breakfast of launching a business. But I don't think we do it very well. Like, we sometimes always tend to think we understand the user or who the customer is. I think we could do with some more understanding, some more digging who exactly the user of my product is. That's the foundation of how you're going to position your brand, how you're going to, the channels you're going to choose to engage with your user, and everything else. The bottom line is, who is the user, what is the proposition? And customers, I think, like Henry Ford said, will never tell you that they need a car if what you're presenting them is a horse. They always tell you they want a faster horse. And so therefore, you have to be comfortable as an entrepreneur, as somebody who is running a venture that is introducing new tech, that you can change behavior. And change behavior also requires you to start from the easier part, which is the early adopters part. And the early adopters are going to influence other people to start using your service. So for us, the one thing that we knew was that early adopters needed to be people who had these characteristics of, well, they have internet access, they have some form of education to some level, and they're young because they are agile and they're flexible to change. So when we defined ourselves that way, then we started asking ourselves, which are the best channels to focus on? But I think as we went through various tests of using the internet to talk to people about our service, we saw that we were not growing as fast. And we said, okay, let's test television. Let's test what marketers call above the line channels. And we saw it work like a charm. And these are the things that you can never break them down scientifically before you do it. You can only look at hindsight and say, oh, it worked because of this. And today we can say, well, most of the stories you can tell people on the internet when we were launching were probably not as scalable as telling people through television. And the message would have been clear and the brand would have been known faster. And then from there, all the other channels like the internet and mobile start making sense. It's also important to know that brand building is not just about that. I think brand building also starts with the purpose. And users can see through the purpose of a brand if it is well articulated through the service. I think the way they interact with you is not through your television commercial or through your radio commercial, it's through the service. For example, in a place like OLX, we help buyers and sellers have a successful transaction. Our purpose is to help people come together and have a win-win transaction. So therefore, if we're not helping that guy who is trying to sell his fridge be successful, then we're not living our brand ethos. And if we're not living our brand ethos, it doesn't matter how many TV campaigns we can launch. It doesn't matter how much we tell him about how OLX is great. He has to be successful. And that's the only way that their brand building becomes ingrained and becomes part of who we are. And that brand building is actually an exercise that should be delivered through the service that through your proposition. It has to make users feel that what you say you stand for actually is exactly what they experience. So it's beyond channels, it's beyond just TV campaigns or radio campaigns. People have to be successful for that to make sense.
So kind of key takeaways would be hindsight is 20/20 on marketing, but do plan, target early adopters, don't build faster horses and then hope that they'll buy your car, just build a car.
Exactly.
And then give them a great experience. And we just wanted to close with some thoughts that Peter might have about what he would recommend to young people starting companies, thinking about blogging. There's a lot to talk about. Starting companies, blogging, getting into the marketing branding space, general being an excellent person. I think there's a lot to be said around here. So any thoughts, Peter?
Yeah, I think a few things. One is that I think it's always good to motivate yourself with an understanding of your environment first. And what I've been telling many young people right now is that Sub-Saharan Africa and Kenya being part of them, we are at the cusp of huge change. And I know this message gets repeated many times, but I think it's good to appreciate that the barriers of innovation are being toned down, not because we have the most efficient government or anything like that, but because of certain technology revolutions that have happened, like the internet. And so we are going to see a lot of change happening in this continent, in this country, and a lot of people who are going to take advantage of it are going to be very, very successful. I think, for example, the area of e-commerce is now experiencing a huge revolution. If I look at today, the retail sector in Kenya, we only have about 15% of the retail being formalized. And the formalization of retail is probably never going to happen through traditional retail. It's going to happen through tech-enabled retail. And that means that there's huge opportunity for young people to be in that sector, whether as an entrepreneur, whether as an employee, but there are huge opportunities there. And I think the opportunities that will make this continent, this country, be seen from a different lens, from maybe what we've seen in international media of kids in two-color study. Well, it starts with us. It starts with the young people who are in universities and colleges. It's them who first need to understand that it's theirs for the taking to really drive their continent, their country forward. But I think we have to understand that there is a ticket that you need to buy to be part of that movement. And that ticket is not only about the education you acquire, but also how disciplined you're going to be in your life. That if you are disciplined, if you conduct yourself as a person who is living a certain passion, a certain purpose, and every single day you're working towards those goals or trying to think about how do I want my friends, my country to remember me, I think you definitely buy yourself a ticket to be part of that movement that is going to make a huge change to this country, this continent, your village, your town, everywhere, because the opportunities are just big. Opportunities are brought about because problems exist. And I think we don't have to go far to see the problems we have that need to be sorted out. And by acquiring the right knowledge, by working in a disciplined manner, I think as a young person, you have bought yourself the ticket to be part of this big movement that is going to help decide how 21st century Africa and Kenya is going to look. So for me, I think that would be my parting word for the young people.
Thank you so much, Peter. This was really fabulous. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you all for watching What It Takes. You can follow our hashtag on Twitter, #WhatItTakes, and continue the conversation there. If anybody has any questions about the series or opportunities that they want to introduce to us, feel free to reach out to me at Arielle, ARIELLE, at DumoWorks, DUMAWORKS.com. We'll be bringing you continuous shows, so please get excited about that. For your information, DumoWorks, we focus on this type of thing and do this what it takes and talk about careers because we want to make sure your job matching experience and your career is as good as it possibly can be. You can check out our website, www.dumoworks.com, for more information. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show.